what if the reason you're, staring blankly at your screen at like 3:00 p.m., just totally exhausted, has absolutely nothing to do with how much you slept?
Right, like we always just blame our sleep schedule.
Exactly. But what if it is, entirely dictated by the exact minute you checked your first email this morning?
It's a really provocative thought, isn't it? Because we tend to view our daily energy as this uh, mysterious tank that just randomly leaks throughout the afternoon.
Yeah, like it's totally out of our control.
But in reality, we're often the ones, actively punching holes in that tank before we've even stepped out of bed.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because usually when we talk about daily routines, there's this immediate stress-inducing image that comes to mind for a lot of people.
Oh, definitely. The whole extreme productivity thing.
Right. It's like some hyper-optimized tech bro waking up at 4 a.m., plunging into a freezing ice bath, meditating for exactly 22.5 minutes, and then, somehow reading 3 dense philosophy books before the sun even comes up.
Just hearing that is exhausting.
It really is. It feels completely unattainable and honestly just exhausting for the rest of us who are simply trying to get out the door with matched socks.
Which is exactly why the whole optimization culture backfires so badly. I mean, it creates this immense psychological pressure on you.
Yeah, you just feel like you're already behind by 7 a.m.
Exactly. We assume that if we aren't operating with that kind of robotic military precision, we're somehow failing at our own day. The concept of a routine becomes a source of guilt rather than what it's actually supposed to be.
Which is just a tool for living, right?
Yes, exactly. A tool to help you function, not punish you.
But what if we're looking at it all wrong? Today, we are taking a deep dive into an incredibly insightful explainer from the YouTube channel LibriDocs.
Yeah, that video is a really great resource.
It is. The video is called Mastering Daily Routines and Essential Lifestyle Vocabulary. And we actually have a unique dual mission for today's deep dive.
Right, because we aren't just looking at the mechanics of a good day, we're looking at the hidden architecture underneath it all.
And how the language we use actively constructs that architecture. It's this amazing blend of like life hacking and language mastery.
The language aspect is so crucial, but it's wildly overlooked. The vocabulary you use to describe your day actually shapes your perception of your own reality.
So we're going to decode the structural DNA of a perfect daily routine.
And simultaneously master the specific, practical English vocabulary used to describe those exact habits. Because when you have the precise words to identify your energy levels, you gain a sense of control.
You're giving your brain a framework.
Exactly. You're no longer just passively reacting to a chaotic day. You're navigating it with intention.
So for you listening right now, I want you to think about how your own day is currently structured. Like, do you feel in control?
Or are you just sort of surviving from one task to the next?
Right, just putting out fires and getting overwhelmed by information overload. Well, promise me you'll stick around, because by the end of this deep dive, you're going to have a blueprint for a balanced day.
To get there, though, we have to completely reframe how we view schedules. We have to move from the abstract idea of a routine to the literal first moments of waking up.
The LibriDocs explainer drops this fantastic quote right at the beginning. It says, "It's the rhythm that keeps our lives moving forward."
Rhythm. It's such a better way to look at it.
I love that word. It implies a beat, a flow. Routines aren't rigid prisons. They're fundamental structures.
And to illustrate this rhythm, the source compares two entirely different people. We have Jennifer, who is this nonstop, heavily scheduled student.
And Daniel, who's an early bird working professional.
Mm-hmm.
On the surface, their lives look totally different.
But what's fascinating here is that they share the exact same structural DNA in their days. And that structure starts the second their eyes open.
So let's look at Daniel first. He wakes up at 6:30 a.m. Crucially, though, he does not check his phone.
Which is a huge detail.
Absolutely. Instead, he grabs a glass of water, washes his face, and brushes his teeth. At 7 a.m., he eats a light breakfast like eggs or a smoothie.
And he doesn't even look at his work-to-do list until 7:30, a full hour later.
Let me bring in some insights from Crystal, the vocabulary expert from the source video, because this is where the terms really matter. Daniel is choosing to hydrate.
Right, which we define as simply giving your body water.
Exactly. And hydrating first thing literally wakes up the biological system after essentially being in a drought all night.
And then there's Jennifer's morning. She wakes up at 7 a.m. She doesn't do the water routine right away, but she breathes and she stretches.
Crystal defines stretch for us too. To extend the body or limbs to loosen stiff muscles. Jennifer uses it to feel more alert.
Then she eats oatmeal or toast. and checks her class schedule. So again, it's a completely different specific activity, but the exact same structure.
Yeah, both are having a light breakfast, which is defined here as a small, simple morning meal that boosts energy without weighing you down.
And then, only after all that, do they consult a to-do list, a list of tasks planned for the day to provide vital mental organization.
It makes me think of an analogy. A good routine isn't like a rigid train schedule where a 1-minute delay ruins the whole trip, you know?
That's a great way to put it.
It's more like a skeleton. It gives you shape and keeps you upright, but it still lets you move freely. But I have to ask a pushback question here.
Go for it.
Is checking the phone first thing in the morning really that detrimental, or is it just a modern scapegoat? Like, what if I just want to see the weather?
What's fascinating here is the underlying biology of it. Both subjects take care of their physical needs before exposing their minds to external stress.
So checking an email really is stressful to the body.
Neurologically, yes. Mental organization requires physical grounding first. If you grab the phone, you're jumping straight into the deep end of external demands before your brain is even online.
Okay, so that calm momentum built in the morning, it sets them up, but it inevitably crashes into midday fatigue, right?
Yeah, the dreaded afternoon.
The source describes the afternoon as a collision course. It's intense productivity crashing into natural fatigue.
Jennifer has these nonstop study sessions, and Daniel is dealing with back-to-back meetings.
So how do they defend their energy when the day gets hardest?
They use shared defensive strategies. The main one is actively stepping away from their workstations for short physical breaks.
Like stretching or grabbing a quick snack. And their lunch habits are super specific too. They eat around noon, and they step completely away from their work.
And they eat light. Jennifer chooses a salad or a sandwich. Daniel opts for a quinoa salad with veggies or maybe a turkey sandwich.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because I feel like corporate culture has this completely backwards.
Oh, for sure, the whole hustle mentality.
Right. We often think working straight through lunch makes us more productive. Like, I'm so busy, I'll just eat this massive burrito at my desk.
Which is the worst thing you can do for your focus.
Isn't it true that eating a heavy meal at your desk is basically self-sabotage? It guarantees you'll be sluggish later.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, yes, absolutely. Digestion takes a huge amount of energy.
Right, draws blood away from the brain.
Exactly. So these light dietary choices aren't just about general health or calories. They are active defensive strategies to protect afternoon focus.
And this ties right back into the vocabulary focus from the video. When we talk about an energy slump, we're defining a massive dip in energy that hits right in the mid-afternoon.
And if you eat heavy, you're inviting that slump right in.
Which leads to feeling sluggish. The source defines sluggish as that horrible, heavy feeling of being slow and totally lacking energy.
Heavy lunches practically guarantee sluggishness.
But by eating light, Daniel and Jennifer avoid that, which allows them to regroup.
Which means taking a moment to organize your thoughts for the second half of the day. You can't regroup if you're in a food coma.
Exactly. And because Daniel regroups so well, he's able to knock out his key projects.
Knockout is such a great informal phrase. It means to complete tasks super efficiently.
Boom, 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 he just gets it done.
But then, once those afternoon tasks are knocked out, you have a new problem.
Right, the productivity engine is running hot, and it needs to be shut down. Can't just slam on the brakes.
No, you have to decelerate intentionally to prepare for the next morning.
So let's look at how Jennifer and Daniel intentionally decelerate. Jennifer takes a short walk, maybe does a light stretch, eats a pasta or rice bowl, and reads.
And Daniel listens to music, takes a walk, eats grilled salmon or a stir fry, and drinks herbal tea.
But there is one incredibly simple but powerful hygiene habit they both share that the source highlights.
This is my favorite part of the whole video.
They both wash their face and brush their teeth after dinner. Not right before bed, but right after dinner.
Daniel actually has a powerful metaphor for this in the video. He says washing his face feels like pressing a reset button.
So what does this all mean? I kind of see it like the closing bell at the stock market.
Oh, that's a brilliant analogy.
All right, like ding, ding, ding. The water hits your face. And it's a clear physical signal that trading is over, the workday is done, and it's time to go home mentally.
It's exactly that. It acts as a psychological trigger signaling the brain to officially clock out. Rituals command our psychology.
From this, the explainer extracts 4 actionable steps for a perfect evening wind down. Step 1, wash your face for that mental reset.
Step 2, disconnect from screens. Both Jennifer and Daniel actively avoid them right before bed.
Step 3, engage in a calming activity, like reading a book or having some tea.
And the vocabulary word here is herbal tea, specifically a caffeine-free tea that aids relaxation, which is Daniel's favorite.
And finally, step 4, stick to a consistent bedtime. Both aim for between 10:00 and 10:30 p.m. to guarantee a full night's sleep.
All of this perfectly defines our last vocabulary term, unwind or wind down, which means to relax and gradually prepare for sleep, physically and mentally letting go of the day's stress.
It's an active process. You don't just accidentally unwind while doom scrolling on the couch.
You really have to think critically about how you transition from high productivity to total peace.
So to distill the core takeaway from all of this, a daily routine is really about sustainable harmony between your output and your self-care.
Yes, you have to give back to the machine so it can keep running.
Remember the golden rules we extracted today. Hydrate early. Start calm before checking those schedules and emails.
Step away for light lunches to beat that sluggish slump.
And purposefully disconnect to wind down. For you listening, remember that while specific choices like smoothies versus oatmeal might differ,
The structural categories remain completely identical.
right, it's about taking control of your daily rhythm so you can live a more balanced day.
The underlying blueprint is what matters.
I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. The source asks, what does your reset button look like? But let's build on that.
Okay, I'm listening.
We've talked so much about how the structure of our day is deeply connected to the vocabulary we use, like hydrate and slump.
Right, the words literally frame our reality.
So if that's true, could simply changing the words you use to describe your daily habits actually change how you physically experience your day?
Oh, wow.
Like, if you stop saying, I'm exhausted, and start saying, I need to regroup, does that shift the power back to you? Something to mull over. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.